We will be discussing the independent woman. How many of y'all remember that hook? Independent. At one season, that was the thing to be, an independent woman. They made songs and soundtracks glorifying the independent woman because she was a leader, a boss. She didn't depend on anyone for anything. She could do it all on her own, for her own. Now here we are in 2021. Sometimes being called an independent woman has now been demonized. Did that season come back to haunt us? So today on the couch, I'm going to ask my guest, is being an independent woman today a blessing or a curse? Let's talk about it on the couch.
On the couch with Lady T today, I have my guest, Ann Keys. This young lady is a beautiful, intelligent. She's a boss in her own right. She owns her own beauty salon. She's a stylist as well. And she does very well for herself. And I have the privilege of having her on the couch with me today talking about being an independent woman. And thank you for joining me on the couch today.
Thank you for inviting me, Tiffany.
So, Ann, do you remember back in the early 2000s with Destiny's Child, the song Independent, Neo, she got her own. And then that one they used to play in the club, Independent. Yeah, if I spelled it right. But Saints, don't kill me. But that was the jam back in the day. And where at one point it seemed as if it was celebrated. Mm-hmm. But here we go now today. It seems like that's one of the worst things to be.
Yeah, it's like being independent is wrong. And now being ratchet, is celebrated now.
Mm-hmm. And you just sparked a whole nother thought in here. Uh-huh. And so now with being independent, everybody has their own definition of what being independent is. So how do you define being an independent?
I define being independent as independent woman, as someone who has her own life, her own routine. I don't depend on, I can have a healthy relationship without being codependent on anybody. Mm-hmm. I know how to get things done, even if it means I have to change my tire, fix sheetrock, because I do it all. And I don't mind doing it, but at the same time, it does not mean that I don't need anybody. Mm-hmm. It's just that I know how and what to do, in case something needs to be done.
So would you say being independent is a blessing or a curse?
I would say it's a blessing.
Okay.
It's been a blessing, but it's been a blessing for me. And I don't like to call it a curse because it's something that God has blessed me to be able to do and not have to depend on anybody else for much. But at the same time, it's as far as in relationships, it's caused me to be impatient in work and in relationships. Okay. Whereas I don't, when it comes to dating, if I don't want to do something, I don't do it. If I don't want to answer the phone, I don't. I just, I'm in my own space.
Gotcha.
And I'm okay with that. But as far as
so let me ask you this: what's the downside?
The downside is like trying to meet people in dating. It's hard for people to. They feel like you make them feel like you don't need them. Mm-hmm. But it's just that you have to find your place. And the most important thing I would tell anybody when I'm dating is get to the root of why I'm why I think the way that I think and why I do things the way that I do, because that's the reason why I'm so independent.
And you just said something, because many women are independent because they had to be. Mm-hmm. Not because we didn't want to trust a man or allow a man to lead. But you had to step in and take on a leader role. And I feel that maybe if, like you just said, if that's communicated, maybe that could help the misunderstanding of being an independent woman. Have you ever had to minimize yourself in relationships so the man can feel like he's leading?
I used to, but I don't do it anymore. Okay. Because when I really thought about it, how I minimized myself, it made me finally see that wasn't my issue. that was their issue. That
That's
wasn't,
good.
you know, that wasn't me. So and I realized that it's a self-esteem thing with some men, because most times men equate money with power. So if you have a woman who has her own money, then you automatically think that she's gonna try to run things, and that's gonna make you feel less of a man, and that's not true. That's not true.
So in the situation, I'm not gonna get too much in your personal life, but how did you handle that when you experienced that with a man? Like, I mean, did you just have to make him always affirm him, or what did that look like?
Which is the reason why I'm probably saying it now. Yeah, I do. I do tell him, you know what I need and what I want. And if you can't meet or beat it, then usually, you know, it doesn't work out. But I don't always, you know, money is not always the thing. It's like you have to find the puzzle piece. So whereas I'm weak, he may be strong in that area, and where, you know, I'm strong, yeah, vice versa. But you know, it's an individual thing, and it just depends on the guy.
Do you feel that, is it always that the issue could possibly be the woman's too independent, or is it just an excuse that some men use because they really don't want to commit?
I think it's an excuse.
Okay.
Because having an independent woman, when you see how strong she is, it causes you to have to level up. And some men don't like the challenge of somebody that can make them better, because they're so used to doing everything to try to make that woman better. So they're not used to that. Most men are not used to that. And iron sharpens iron, so, you know.
That's what it should do.
That's what it should do, yeah.
I know there were some situations in the news. I think Pastor John Gray with his wife, one of the things, because he got challenged with having infidelities. And one of the things that he shared was his wife helped him with healing his broken places. Is it the job of an independent woman to heal these men broken places, heal them back to faithfulness? Is that our responsibility?
No.
To show that we down with them?
Absolutely not. Because I'm up. So why would I want to be down? I need you to be up with me. And when you're in a place of healing, you can't, a sick person, if he has a lot going on, then that can bring you down. They contaminate you. So you have to be careful what you allow in your life.
Because the saying is, my happiness is my responsibility. Your healing is your responsibility.
Exactly. If I did my work, that means that you can do yours too.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as projects, we did, projects we did in school. If it's a group project, which means that both of us are working.
That's good.
But as far as one person doing all the work, that's not me.
I got my assignment, you got yours. Exactly. You do work, and you study to get your work done. I study to get my work done. Oh, that's good. Because with, like you said, the world where it seemed like if independent was a thing, now we're celebrating a different caliber of woman. And when you're trying to remain at this standard and you're seeing this, but yet you're longing for that right companionship, has that ever affected your self-worth indirectly? Have you ever had those moments where, okay, is there something wrong with me? Is it something, what am I doing? Have you ever experienced that, and what was that like for you?
Yeah, I've been several times. I've always felt like, what is wrong with me? I got this going and that going. I look this way. I take care of myself. I have a nice home, all of that. But why nobody sees me? And sometimes, I think I read somewhere where it says sometimes God hides you from what He's trying to protect you from. So that's the way that I look at it.
Okay.
So what I'm asking for is just not my time. He is not no. Like a lot of times we take no, but you got to see the whole word, and it's just not now. So yeah, so that's the way I look at it.
So what led you from that place where you once was questioning the woman that you were or your worth for a man to the woman that you are now? What led you to that thought process to this process now?
Because at that time, I was living in pieces, and now I'm at a place of peace. I'm in peace now, and I know that I'm enough. I know that I'm more than enough. And when you get there, you don't accept anything, and you just become okay with you and your own company. Because I've realized that if I don't like my own company, why do I expect somebody else to like my company, to want my company?
But you said something. I'm about to be all extra. This ain't no tambourine. But you said that you was once living in pieces, and now you are in peace.
Yes.
And you are okay with you. Girl, let me put that up.
And you get there when like looking for acceptance on the outside. But once you learn to accept yourself and who you are on the inside, then you don't need outside validation because you validate yourself. And that's what I do.
And let me clear this up, Amy, before we go any further. This is not a male bashing show. We love us some men. My goal is for us to speak to women.
Right.
That we understand what that challenge is, what it feels like, where you can still stay empowered and encouraged and be okay with you while yet still being a work in progress. But at the same time, I'm not going to let an individual outside of me define what I think and feel about me.
Exactly.
So that's let me clear that up, and we're gonna go on back to that, because I went back and asked that question because now we got this gentleman. His name I think is Kevin Samuels, and he's this gentleman who has this show where he gives independent women opinions about themselves if they can get a high dollar man or this type of man, and so they call the show. And honestly, he just rips them apart. Now, some things he say make sense, but it's like we're in a world now where we will allow another flawed individual to make me question all about me. Because I'm overage, I got 3 kids, or I didn't get a degree, and I'm gonna let you be the sounding board of my validation. So there are women who are seeking validation from people who shouldn't even be that relevant. I mean, so what are your thoughts about? Have you ever ran into any women who struggle with that as well?
Yeah, I talked to, of course, standing behind a chair, you hear so many different stories. But there are a lot of women who let not having a man define who they are. But that's a person, like that's something that you should work on. And it's not about anybody else, it's all about you. And when you get to a point where you're not looking on the outside, if you go through life with blinders on and know that it's about you and where you're going, then you don't have time to think, here and let outside voices tell you who you are. Especially when you know who you are and whose you are.
And whose you are, because you'll be all over the place. I know that I've heard men talk about women, and they'll say this woman looks nice, she's smart, she has a nice home, she has a nice car, and then they'll say, oh well, but she has a funny looking pinky toe. and I'm thinking to myself, so they got the right to be able to disqualify individuals based on the little things, but here it is, you got so many women, because it says sometimes that women are more picky than men. That's an old backstory. We will compromise in so many ways to build with somebody that we care about. And do you feel that, with being independent, we're saying, you gotta be this, you gotta be that, or is it, no, I just know my boundaries, but yet this is where I need you? So what do you think that misunderstanding comes in?
Well, I feel like it becomes a misunderstanding because when the man finds something wrong with this woman that's perfect, then it's something that he's running from. It has absolutely nothing to do with her. It's something that he's running from within himself. And it could be that he's trying to hide some feelings. And then at the same time, it probably comes from the brokenness in him. And it's probably best that he stays away from this woman who has all of this going on, because you will be breaking her for somebody who has no problem with her pinky toe.
Pinky toe. All her toes. And that, even with that, because you said brokenness. You don't hear that about, especially African American men and brokenness. When they have traumas and abandonment issues, neglect issues, rejection issues that they internalize and spew out on individuals, like you just said, that have us confused. Me and you had a conversation. This is how we're gonna sum that question up. We were talking, and you said something from Cardi B.
Oh, about he has me thinking I'm flawed because he's inconsistent.
Got me thinking I'm flawed because he's inconsistent. Cardi didn't say anything else. That was where the Grammy came in. Because when you realize that, like you just said, I may have some flaws.
Yeah, and I know I do.
Yeah.
We all know we do. We all know we do.
But I ain't on what you trying to make me to be. So that is the thing that I really want to pull from that. What do you feel in regards to now, this place, like I said, you in peace now.
Mm-hmm.
What does accepting being an independent woman now and waiting to be found, or do you still struggle with moments that, okay, I still have to dim my light, to make me feel comfortable that I meet? Do you still struggle with that, or you just, I'm here now?
I'm here, and I'm here to stay. And my thing, I was at a point one time where I was thinking about buying just a regular, like just a Honda or just not a luxury car, and not, letting anybody know where I stay. Where I live.
Can you say it again for the people in the back? No, for the people in this back here. You said you thought about doing what now?
Thought about purchasing just a regular auto, instead of like a luxury vehicle, just so it would make me so it would make me more approachable. That's what I thought, that if I did that would make me more approachable, because people are like, well, nobody's really gonna approach you because you drive this and you look this way, but I've always heard that. And I just and I got to the point I was like, no, because who wants to meet me? Because that would tell me a lot. Whoever approaches me in whatever I drive, that would tell me a lot about his confidence, because I would want him to have
absolutely
some confidence.
Absolutely.
Whether he drove a luxury car or not, if he approached me, that still would mean a lot to me.
Absolutely. Wow. But I'm glad you got that beautiful being that you have. Yeah. I mean, but we don't think, nobody's thinking. What I love about this, because you're speaking for some women who have thought like this, and someone look at you and be like, you had to think like that?
Yeah.
You would consider compromising like that just for a man to feel comfortable just to approach you?
Just to approach.
Not because I frown all the time, or I got a foul mouth. Just to be approached.
But the thing about that is, no,
come on with
But
it.
the thing about that is, that's only gonna last for so long. So I can't just give you the representative. I have to give you the person, because when you meet somebody, that's the representative. But the representative only lasts for so long. Mm-hmm. So you got to get to it. So
get it on out the way.
Get it out the way.
That's so true. I know I've talked to women. They'll say things like, I got cheated on, and the man I asked was the lady prettier than me? Was she a better lover than me? What does she have that I don't have? And to me, that's heartbreaking.
It is.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. But you have to get to a place where you have to realize you're the prize. See, when you do that, you make the man feel like he's the prize, when we are the prize.
That's how it's supposed to
So
be.
instead of worrying about how pretty she is and how she is in the bed, work on being a better you.
Work on being, because that's all you can control. And I can never be Ann, and Ann can never be Tiffany.
Exactly.
So the last thing my competition is something outside of me that I can't change anyway.
And you have to learn to move on. And it's okay. It's okay to be by yourself. You have to learn to move on, because would you rather hurt and heal, or hurt and hurt?
Mm.
So that's up to you.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. And this is one I've heard, and I've experienced this for myself, where men will say, I met a wonderful young lady, and went on a date with her, and she told me about her past. And after what she shared with me, I just couldn't get over it. Do you feel that sharing your past personal life in your present moments can possibly cause some men to disqualify you?
I do, and I learned it the hard way. But yeah, you don't give the person an opportunity to know you or to make a decision on who you are
Today.
Today, exactly, because they're gonna. For some, as humans, we always think that you are that person that you have told me about.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are, but you can't let your past define you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just like when I hear women say that, when men are dogs, one cheat, all cheat. I don't believe that. I don't believe all men cheat.
Absolutely.
No, I don't.
Or let's just say if one has done a bad thing in the past.
Exactly.
Who am I today?
Mm-hmm.
So can I get the assessment of the man and woman that you're meeting today? So now, I mean, you're right. I think that's unfair, but at the same time, I've learned how that has affected things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's women, we don't know that because, they're just taking it all in, girl,
Mm-hmm.
and we tell them all the business and wonder why they don't call us anymore. Girl, you tell them all your OT. So let's talk about this curse word, girl.
Curse word.
Oh, it's foul. It's a foul word. They need to get rid of it. Some say. What do you think about the word submit?
The word submit does not bother me one bit, Tiffany. Mm-hmm. Because I am, even being independent, I'm okay with submitting. Mm-hmm. Because I have been superwoman. I had my daughter when I was 14. Mm-hmm. So I have been making it work since 1994.
You said superwoman.
So I have been superwoman for over half of my life. And I'm just ready to be a woman. So if that special man wants to come in and take lead, I am okay with it. I just want to be a woman.
Just want to be a woman. Without the cape on.
Without the cape.
Man.
But I need him to understand.
Okay.
That if he needs me to put this cape on, if he want to rest his, I got this.
My. Where is the glass? I ain't got the good.
Yeah. Seriously.
When you need it, I got it right here.
I got it right here. Hold it, baby.
Hold it. But that's what I love that, because it seems as if you just got the cape on, you don't never want to take it off. But again, you try to take, the way we hear it sometimes is that we try to take the man cape and wear our cape. And I think that's that's another misunderstanding.
Well, I think the misunderstanding of being an independent woman, people get the definition of independent and self-sufficient.
Break it down.
Independent means that you know how to get it done, and sometimes that means having people on the outside, to come in to get the job done. Self-sufficient means that you don't need anybody else. We're independent because we have to be, not because we chose to be, but that's the only decision that we have. So we need other people, to come in and do things. We can't live alone. Shoot, life is a team sport.
There's no island. Come on now.
Life is a team sport.
But you said self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. So people are getting the terms mixed up.
It's mixed up. Well, the definition of it.
Because being independent is necessary.
It's necessary.
So let's put a record. Independence is necessary. Self-sufficient is what's causing the confusion. Gotcha.
Yeah. And for the record, independent means one. And I have to be one until we become two.
See that?
Yeah.
And we can't be acting like one when you haven't made me the one.
Exactly.
And many want wife privileges, and we're just in the dating phase. I don't even have an engagement ring. So it's levels to this submission thing.
It is. And trust is a big thing. Like, you have to, being an independent woman, I have to be able to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm okay. As long as I can trust you, I'm okay with you even handling my funds as long as I know you're gonna do right by it. So I'm okay with that. But trust plays a big role in love, in finding love and being independent. Because the only person we've really been able to trust and know that we're gonna do what needs to be done is us.
And I can deal with me letting myself down.
Exactly.
Because I'm gonna try to get that right.
And that's why you're independent, because you've been disappointed so many times, you know. So you just you do the best you can to make to stay up and happy, you know.
And we about to get ready to wrap up. Here it is, and we are wiser now. We're more seasoned now. And now we got this young generation coming behind us. They perky, they're more vibrant, you know, they you know, they just eye-catching. Some of the standards are a little more lower than us because, you know, we like, look, been there, done that. Not anymore. Young girls like, what we doing? What, you gonna give me some shoes? How do you manage to stay consistent when you know there's another world that's competing in the same spots that you are?
That's a good question.
And I don't know if competing is good, but everybody's trying to be found.
Everybody trying.
So you got the 25-year-old, the 30-year-old, the 40, and the 50. We all in this bucket. And see, a lot of men know that. What sets you apart? And that's the scary thing, because you're like, okay, is keeping my standards gonna make him choose me? Or if I lower him like the young girls do, maybe they'll be more open. How do you juggle that in your head to where you can be at peace with, this is who I'm gonna be?
Well, what I do is, as far as knowing the new generation, you know, the new coming up, I try to be different and stay different, because like the world now, everybody's doing the same thing. So the way that you stay different, the way that you stand out is to look different. Because if everything looks the same, how can you be found? If you looking and you doing what everybody, because just because it's common don't make it right.
Right. That speaks to one's self-esteem. You have to be so good with that, because if you not good in that place, you are. And we see it on jobs all the time. We compete with young girls. I can never be 25 again. I don't even want to be 25 because I wasn't as smart as I was now. But we don't look at it that way. We're looking at the bodies and all that. And we know what that road led to. And we'll still want to compete to that place when we know what we do want, but we'll lower our standards for what we don't want just to say we might get what we want. You understand what I'm saying?
Do you think it's competing though? Because I think with us, we don't have to work as hard because we already know what it is and where we're going. But I think with them, they work so much harder than they have to, and they have so many resources that they could use, but they don't use them. Whereas we had to get it out the mud.
Right.
So it makes it, we embrace what we've worked hard for better than they do, because it wasn't given to us.
And I feel like going to it, the wisdom now.
Oh, yeah.
Now, some things we tolerated 25, we weren't there tolerated 25. And so that's what I'm saying. That's the one up for me. And whereas some men say, well, I don't want to deal with that because they got too many boundaries. And the young girls don't. But we know what comes with those consequences. I'm at the age, I don't need you buying me no shoes and you not treating me right. I don't need a nice purse just to say you come and see me once a week. I need stability. I need loyalty. I need commitment. So you can keep your purse if I got a half a relationship. But see, some young girls, that fills them up. He bought me a Birkin bag and don't let a rap song come along. It's like, yeah, he spending that money on me and he doing it on for you and you.
Exactly.
And you still ain't got it.
Okay, so that goes back to me saying, what are you doing differently? So he's gonna treat you like he's treating everybody else because he doesn't, hey, you don't have any expectations for him. But how long does it last? The fun always gets old. And then that's when he realized that goes from, as far as the wants and the needs. You're just the want right now. But eventually as he gets older, and even as you get older, your wants and your needs change. And see, with me, Tiffany, when you're young, you can have a list this long as far as what you're looking for in a man. But as you get older, that list gets shorter and shorter.
And straight to the point.
Straight to the point. Whereas I tell one of my young clients all the time, like when you 20 something, you can live off love. But when you get my age,
Mm-hmm.
I can't take love to MLG and
I
tell them
can't.
that I'm going to pay a
I
bill.
can't.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I need more. And what I love, you did emphasize, it's not just about money.
It's not about money.
So that's the thing I really want to clear up. It's not a money thing where he ain't coming to the table with 200,000. He can't. No. That's not. I need so much more because a man can provide and still not be present. So
He
let's
can
clear that
provide
up.
and also treat you any kind of way.
Exactly.
Too. So you have to be careful with words because words are powerful.
Mhm.
You'll get a man that comes in and pays all the bills and take care of you and buying purses and shoes, but how does he treat you? How does he make you feel?
Absolutely.
Is he there?
Is he there? You shared a whole lot and said a lot of good stuff. What would you like for any woman to take away from looking at this? What nuggets will you give them?
The main thing is that you are enough. You are enough. You do not have to make yourself seem small for somebody else to seem big. But you are enough. You are more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. It's okay to be by yourself. It's okay.
Yeah, that's what you tackle that hard.
It's okay to be by yourself.
But I think that's the challenge for many.
Because at the end of the day, you are the one who have to live with you and the decisions that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has to live with them but you.
Because peace is expensive.
Yeah.
You know, just having somebody but still not having nothing but drama. And when you realize my peace is worth more than any of this. So yeah.
And to any woman who feels like she has been with a man, husband, whoever, for a long time and put up with a whole lot from him and feel like that she has to put up with that, and you're worried about another woman getting a better version of him because you put in and invested all of this time with him, it's okay to move on and become a better version of yourself for the person that God really has for you.
And not be worried about if somebody may, keyword may, get a better version of him. Because that's not our control anyway.
That's out of your control. You just have to worry about you.
And what I gather and what I love, these my nuggets, went from being in pieces to being in peace. And being okay with being by yourself. Many women, that's a struggle. Like, you don't understand. I got needs, and that's the thing. I got some needs. Even though I rather take some temporary fulfillment, even though it's burning a hole in my heart, I got needs. And what would you say to that woman when that loneliness starts to become more consuming versus just standing still?
I would say that search within, because you have to accept yourself. You have to be able to accept yourself and live with yourself. Because see, he doesn't have to live with what you do and how you feel even after you do whatever you do and he's gone. You're the one left holding the bag. So you have to decide on when you're tired of holding it back.
Because being quiet sometimes is scary. But it's in quiet times when we can get the noise out of our ear, the lies, the things that we've entertained to make us second guess ourselves or question our worth. But when you have that a long time, let me go and get a little spiritual, and allow God to do a work inside of me and start unpacking those layers that keep drawing and pulling certain type of men, because we draw a certain type of man. We may not try to.
We do.
Have you experienced that?
Yeah.
And I just wonder, why am I drawing this type of man? I'm sweet, I'm nice, but it's some stuff in you that you're drawing. And it's coming from outside, and you're pulling the very type of men that you really don't want.
And the thing about it too,
or need.
When you talk about the quiet time that you have while most times when you are being your own critic, being critical of yourself, we're always pulling out the good things about us. But at the same time, you got to learn to pull out the bad too and know what you need to work on. Because if you don't work on it, it gets worse and worse and worse. and you can't ignore it, then you upset when somebody
Bitter.
else points it out.
Bitter. And wondering like I keep getting done wrong, I did like this. You got some
It's
issues.
a pattern. It's a pattern. You have to recognize that.
And it's okay because we are flawed.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to end saying thank you. And it's okay. I said it's okay to be alone and heal. We gotta heal. And it's boring sometimes. It gets lonely sometimes. Take yourself out, treat yourself. And I know you probably got some men like, yeah, doesn't sound good. And women know they fall for the game. And men and women have failed for game. But when you get tired, when you get tired, it's nothing, no game could tell me, because I seen this picture before and I ain't going for it. And when you get to that level of confidence and know that you know what you want, is it a different type of freedom?
It is. It is. And it could be bad and it could be good.
What's the bad side then?
The bad side is like you can get invites to do, people invite you to places and do, but you're so content with who you are, and you have so much joy, within yourself that you're like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna, stay here by myself. And that's what I find myself doing a lot of times when I probably can get out and mingle and meet and,
My husband said he calls it, you can kind of get addicted to being alone.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
It could
Your
be
own
it.
space.
Your own space, and then it's no drama, it's no checking in, no checking out, worrying about where somebody is. It's just peace. It says peace, and once you get there, it's hard to get out of it. It's hard to get in, and nobody can come in and disturb it. And it's hard to let somebody do it.
Well, Ann, I thank you. That was good. Let me tell you something. Look, and then too, we ain't compete with no young girls. We've been there, done that. I tell everybody, we don't come down to young ladies levels. We giving young ladies something to come up to.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. We so busy trying to show them that I still got it. I never lost it. I'm just older. I got something you don't have, young lady. I got wisdom now. And that's what we don't want to include. We just want to make it about a physical thing. But I got some experience in life that's taught me that if you listen, I can help you and prevent you from having these thoughts and emotions and all that. But I thank you, Ann, for coming on the couch. So it's okay to be independent. Just don't get self-sufficient.
Exactly.
And oh, wait a minute. She said, I want to not always wear that superwoman cape, but if that man needs me to pull mine out, I got him. I got him whenever I need to pull it out. So she's ready on standby. You sound like a team player. She sounds like a future help me. You understand me? So again, thank you for coming on. And I just hope that some lady got something out of this, because you have truly blessed this couch today. Thank you, Ann. And so, like I said, best wishes to you and your future endeavors and your to be continued, because, you said because a good man is going to find you.
Oh, yeah, he's going to find me. He's going to find me.
Yeah, we got to end with that part. Yeah, she talking independent and single, but she never claimed that a good man is going to find her. So yeah, we gonna end on that note, and that's what all women need to say. It ain't here yet, but I'm speaking in faith. A good man is gonna find Ann. And thank you for coming on the show, girl.
Thank you again, Tiffany.
And thank y'all for joining us on the couch with Lady T. Have a good night.